to talk about fear, and specifically fear in the spiritual community. And for this video, because, you know, a lot of people, they talk about overcoming fear and stuff. I'm going to put on some warrior stripes for it. Let's hope this works. Yes, I did actually go get dirt from my yard and make mud. Not too bad. I used to be a cheerleader in high school and college, and so, you know, high school, I don't know what things are like nowadays, but because that was like over 10 years ago, but way back when it was, you know, people would put their little warrior stripes on for games, football games and such. So, alright, I am getting mud and dirt everywhere down below. It's just dropping from my finger. And now my finger is all dirty. And I don't have anything to wipe it on. Alright. Well, now I'm ready. I got my warrior stripes. I'm ready to go. So, fear in the spiritual community. I think that there is, I guess you could call it an over-exaggeration of, like, overcoming fear in the spiritual community. A lot of people talk about, you know, yes, the universe is just love. Is love, right? Love only. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that, yes, that is true, because even negative and, you know, what people would label as bad things or evil things, you know, a lot of that stuff, it still has its roots in love, right? And the whole, you know, the universe is all love and that type of stuff. And as much as it's true, we also need to kind of take that down a notch, just a little bit. I think that in the spiritual community, there needs to be a little bit more of an understanding that, you know, we still have ego, and that still makes people do certain things. You know, everybody's on a different level of understanding. Everybody's on a different level in their journey, in their life, in their soul's life. And not, you know, not everybody is at your same level of awakening. You know, I've heard stories of, like, people going to certain places overseas because, you know, everything's all love, homie, you know, and then they end up getting killed because they go to, like, a dangerous place to try to, like, prove that the universe is all love and rainbows and sunshine and all that good stuff. But, you know, they go there and then they end up getting murdered. And, you know, I just think that we need to remember that not everybody is at our level of awakening, and not everybody, you know, has the same understanding that we do. Not everybody's where we're at, Holmes. Not everybody's there yet. We need to remember that and take it down a notch, right? Because when it comes down to fear, you know, when it comes down to emotional fear, I think that we could use a definite overhaul and try to not be so afraid emotionally. You know, like, we're afraid of our feelings getting hurt. You know, somebody would be afraid of being rejected if they ask somebody out on a date or something, like things like that. Emotional stuff, I think that, you know, it is something that we should overcome, and it doesn't really have a place emotionally. However, when it comes down to physical fear, it still has its place in our lives. You know, if there's a tornado that's coming, I'm gonna go into the basement still and probably cry. I really don't like tornadoes. So, what else? If I'm at the bank and somebody goes in there and they're trying to rob it, like, I'm gonna be afraid. That's my physical fear that's coming up. I am afraid of being hurt physically. There's always that, oh, well, we had these egos and fear when we were caveman, and we don't need that fear anymore. And, for certain things, yes, but still for certain things, no. We need to remember that everybody is on a different path, everybody is in a different spot, and we need to create balance in that fear and in that trying to overcome our fear, so that we don't just decide to go, willy-nilly, and if a tornado's coming, we go, come at me, bro. Come at me, tornado. Because I have a pretty decent idea of what's going to happen to you if you decide to just, stand in the middle of the road when an F5 tornado is coming right at you. For those of you who are unfamiliar with tornadoes, because you don't live in a tornadic area, that's like, I think that's the highest now, unless they changed it. So like the worst kind of tornado. You're not going to stand outside and say, do with me what you will. We need to create a balance when it comes to our fear, not so much when it comes to emotional fear, but more so when it comes to physical fear. And I think this is something that a lot of people in the spiritual community too don't really understand, is that and I think I mentioned this in another video, we try to like ascend and become like, become 5D or 4D or whatever. We try to erase our humanity from ourselves, and for the moment, we're still human beings. We still have these physical bodies, and we still have these egos, and we need to work on ourselves with what we have and keep that self-love throughout the whole time. And that means loving our humanity, our human aspects, our soul aspects, everything, and not just dropping the 3D stuff and forgetting about it and saying, screw you, 3D, I'm done with you. I do think that we are on this path of ascending or ascension, but I think that, if things were ever to change in a way that we do actually become physically different because of it, it's not going to be something that just kind of, obviously not something that happens overnight, and I don't think that it's something that that we can kind of force, right? So, for those of us who have this higher, I don't want to say higher, but that have this understanding, that are at this level of awakening, that we understand this, I think that, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Everything's going to just naturally occur. It kind of feels like we're trying to like force it when we just forget about the 3D when it comes to fear and just say, I don't need fear. I don't need fear. Fear does have its place, but it can also be excessive. So, bring down that emotional fear and balance out that physical fear. I'm not talking about people who are afraid of a daddy long leg spider. Daddy long legs are like harmless. I need to do that. Daddy long legs are harmless. I'm not talking about that kind of physical fear. I'm talking about, like in my example, tornadic fear, all that kind of stuff. Because I think sometimes, and maybe that was a lesson for those people to learn that travel to those places and did those things. Everything in life can be a lesson. right? Okie dokie. Me and my warrior stripes are out of here. As always, I am a certified life, relationship, and spiritual coach. I also coach soul connections like twin flames and soulmates. I do free initial 30-minute sessions. This notification keeps coming up. I do free initial 30-minute sessions. If you would like to upgrade your 30 minutes to a full session, you can do so for 50% off of whatever I charge at this point. Whenever you're watching this video, whatever I charge for a full session at that time. Look at the description. I have links. I do have a Facebook group. At this point, it's not very active quite yet, but I just love the name. It's called Pursue You Life Support, and it's got like the little, the heartbeat thing, and I just think it's like really cute, and I like it. So. And it might be able to help you out one day. I'm still trying to grow it, so it's not quite active quite yet. But I hope that sometime in the future, once all of you lovelies join the group, that I can interact with you guys more, and also you guys can get help and advice regarding anything, life, relationships, spirituality, same kind of general topics as my channel and what I coach, that you guys can get some insight from other people too, because even at me being a coach, I still have my coaches. I still learn from other people. So it's a win-win. It's a win all around. Alrighty. Until next time, everybody, I'll see you guys later, alligators.